Hey, we got raided, and I wasn't ready for it. I was getting the stream started up, and then Joe Kim raided with a party of 25, and then Harold raided with a party of 1. So, hey, what's up, Raiders and everybody else? Welcome to the old Bill with Bear. My name is Pat Baer. I hope people stuck around. I literally was like, all right, let me get the stream started up, and then I'm going to go collect my thoughts, and I'm going to, get some water, and then come back. And then I came back in. It says Joe Kim is rating with a party of 25. Harold is rating with a party of 1. And it's just like, oh, hi. Welcome. It's the Bill with Bear workshop. I'm Pat Bear. I build model kits and hang out. We talk about, video games and anime and pop culture stuff and all kinds of fun things. If you're new, consider giving me a follow, hang out. If you're, you've been here before, welcome, of course. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe emote in the chat, much like Harold did. Because Joe Kim is 25 times more popular than I am. Harold, numbers don't mean everything. They do mean something. I'm not going to lie to you, Harold. Numbers do mean something, because we like when the numbers go up. As you can see, we are currently at 45 out of 50 subscribers. The goal, of course, is to hit that big 5-0. Haven't done it this month. That's the goal by the end of the month, is to hit 50 subscribers. Why 50? Because it pretty much guarantees I get a monthly payout. I can probably do it for less than that. Anything over 40 is usually pretty good. But 50 means, okay, I know I'm getting a payout. Which means I know I can buy model kits because I will be getting that payout halfway through the next month. So I can keep buying stuff. Because I just bought some model kits yesterday. And I'm very excited about those model kits that I did purchase. Premium Bandai, folks. P-Bandai. They're selling some. I bought some Gundam wing kits, some old Gundam wing kits. I'm very excited about them. The Heavy Arms Custom, which is a very specific model kit. It's the Heavy Arms, but not the Endless Waltz version. It's the one where they just added. Harold just cheered 15 bits. Well, thank you very much for that, Harold. Appreciate that. I'm going to hit the old sound effect here. Cha-ching. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it, Harold. Bits are always appreciated as well. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. I bought some old model kits that they're refurbishing and putting out new. So they're not like new kits, but they are new pieces done in old style, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm excited about that. What am I building now? I'm also building an old model kit with a fresh coat of paint. I'm going to reply to my tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us here, because it's always nice to have friends to come into the stream. That's always nice. And we'll chat a little bit about the model kit that we're starting tonight. Starting a new kit, so you're here at a great time. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Welcome, my friend. Let's go to the old overhead. Boom, there's the overhead. Here's me. Now, this t-shirt does look gray, but I must emphasize that this is an olive-colored shirt. And it's not, it's not bright green. I know it's not bright green, but it is olive-colored, even if it does look gray. And it is a green shirt, even if it does look gray in this lighting. Okay, so what is this kit? The Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion. First off, most of these parts are from the kit that was built or was put out in 2013, the Gundam Astray Red Frame, but new coat of paint. Basically, where it normally would be white, it's a dark maroon. Where it would normally be red, it's a dark gray or a black. They kind of inverted, and it's not a full inversion, because the other parts would be white instead. But it's just a different recoloring. And so you end up with this incredibly awesome maroon color. This maroon is so lovely. And then there are some new parts. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. Happy to have you here, my friend. There are some new parts here, but most of it is a kit from 2013. As I said, the gray is also really nice. Definitely looks like Yeah, we got Lashbrook here. We got Lord Crashington here. Got great crew already. Got some regulars. Got some new faces. Excellent. Definitely looks like the Edgelord Astray. Yes, the emphasis on the black and red. These are colors that I loved when I was not a goth. When I was I would say I was an aspiring goth. Like I read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, but I wasn't like, and I like listened to Nine Inch Nails, but I wasn't like I wasn't wearing makeup. I didn't wear any makeup. The only time I've ever worn makeup is for theater and acting performances. No, but that was not part of my day to day. So, I was definitely a fake goth. I really liked The Crow, and by extension, Sting, the wrestler. But yeah, I didn't cut myself. I was not obsessed with blood or my own. That's not all goth, but that is a goth thing, certainly. I did go to a goth bar, but that was to play Dungeons and Dragons, because they would close once a week on their off night, and it was a club, membership club, for people that wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons in a safe environment, quote unquote. But then 6 other nights of the week it was a goth bar. I definitely told that before, that I really got into Dungeons and Dragons thanks to a bar that would close once a week. And just lock up all the liquor and then just have an all ages Dungeons and Dragons sessions, multiple sessions. Were some of them LARPing? Yes. Were all of us LARPing? No. Was I one of the people that LARPed? Yeah, I was. I got recruited from the theater group, the drama club, because I was loud and weird and just my vibe seemed to be, this dude would be into playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they were right. And this dude would like to act out some stuff, and they were right. And then one of them was like, do you want to play a game that's not Dungeons and Dragons but kind of like it? And we play it in AOL chat rooms. And I was like, of course I want to do that. Of course I wanted to do that. I became a host. I volunteered my time to make sure that more people could do that. Of course I wanted to do that. Let me ask, folks. I once mentioned this at a panel that I did, and the response from the audience that they were around my age was pretty much universally people being like, yes, this is also my experience. So let me know in the chat if any of you experienced this. Were you ever a teen playing an online role-playing game, a chat-based game, and you ended up becoming friends with someone who was twice your age, and then you had to listen to their adult problems? Specifically, because somebody tweeted about this, somebody posted this on Tumblr 5 years ago when I was reading Tumblr stuff. It's still there. I just not paying attention to it. But I remember posting or seeing this post on Tumblr where someone was just like, "Hey, reblog this. If you were ever a teen helping someone go through a divorce," and I was just like, "That was me." I hope you're doing well out there. Now. So you must be, let's see, that was 30, so yeah, 26 years ago. So that's a person who is now in their almost 60. I hope almost 60-year-old out there, woman out there, you are doing well. Hope you're doing very well out there. Woman whose name I can't remember. Your character name was Rhiannon, but I don't think that was your real name. So, Rhiannon from Black Bayou, I hope you're doing okay. You were going through it. You were definitely going through it while playing that game. I think that's the only thing I can remember. Black Bayou, it was based on White Wolf, but it was not like official or anything. It was just an online way to play. There was a chat room that was a bar in town, so that was your general chat where you could just like talk to people and do whatever. And then if you wanted to have like a battle, you would go to a private AOL chat room, and then you would like ping a host. I was one of them to basically be a GM for your private battle or any private interaction. There was also a message board where people could post stuff that was going on. It was a whole thing. I did it a lot in high school because my time playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then was short-lived, and then the briefest amount of time with Vampire the Masquerade. Because as I said, I was playing it with a lot of goth folks who were interested in playing, who were a little bit more interested in checking out the wonderful world of Vampire the Masquerade, and not as much about the old D&D. They wanted their vampires. They didn't necessarily want their dragons or dungeons. So a thing that I keep forgetting about this kit, most of these parts, as I said, are from the year 2013, and there is a lot of things called undergating. Undergating are, you're going to see these tiny little specks here. They're just extra little pieces that you got to clip off on your own, because if you don't, sometimes your parts aren't going to connect well together. And so I will do my best. They are going to be kind of denoted where they are. Hey, Jim, welcome. Welcome to the old Build with Baer workshop. It's Wednesday, and I'm building a model kit. I should also mention a thing that I really love about this kit, and I love when they do this. These polycaps are maroon instead of being black or gray. And they didn't need to do this. I don't even think it's going to affect the kit, but I do think it's fucking cool. Lord Crashington, did I say it's Wednesday? It's Thursday. I may have said it's Wednesday. If I said it's Wednesday, okay. Lord Crashington says I did say it was Wednesday. It's Thursday. So my apologies, friends, for being incorrect about what day it is. Wednesday night, last night we streamed, and I played a little under 2 hours of Tunic, and then we raided a stream. We raided did we raid the Buttress? I can't remember who we raided. I feel like we did. Yes, we raided the Buttress, and we hung out in her model kit building stream for a while. And then I uploaded the archive of last night's stream. And then I opened up Tunic again and played another 3 to 4 hours of it. Lastbrook says, I cannot say I've ever helped someone through a divorce. Okay. That is an experience that I have shared with at least a couple people. It is a very strange experience because the anonymity of the internet. But you play games with people, you see their usernames, you're friends with them in Instant Messenger, you send emails back and forth, and sometimes you chat outside the game, and sometimes people are going through it. Maybe you even get to a private chat room and you're talking about what's going on with that. Perhaps one of the people is just like, I wish we could talk on the phone, and you're like, well, that doesn't seem. I don't have enough common sense to understand that that's inappropriate. So sure, we'll chat on the phone, and then you just try to be a good friend to this person that is definitely needs someone in their life. That was my general feeling about mid to late 90s internet, particularly so AOL for me was definitely, the peak was early to mid 90s. By the end of the 90s, I was just on I had dial-up internet that wasn't tied through AOL. But particularly the early to mid 90s, I did a lot of interneting. Is this H1? Is this H8 or is that H7? Sorry. I may have gotten the wrong part. I did. It's the wrong part. yeah, it was definitely through AOL. And I describe that period of AOL, in my experience, that period of that kind of internet, as um, young people figuring out technology that their parents don't understand, and people slightly older than them figuring out this newfangled technology who were very lonely. The internet is still a lonely place, for sure. Don't get me wrong. It is still a place for people to reach out outside of their direct, like, communities when they feel like they don't have anything like that to kind of meet people. But particularly in the 90s, there was this phenomenon of very lonely people going online and talking to people and finding some sort of comfort in that, the ability to talk to people, to find like-minded individuals. Like AOL chat room, like keyword anime, the AOL chat room for anime was a revelation, because people were talking about, like, they were recommending VHS tapes that they had purchased, or saying like, hey, this dub is terrible, so, like, or just being like, I don't know if your Coconuts has these tapes, but my Coconuts has these tapes. And just like people talking about stuff, like people talking about like fan sub groups they recommended, and like addresses, PO boxes you could write to for fan sub groups if you wanted to get their mailer and all this stuff. And it was just like this beautiful thing. I used news groups a bit, but I didn't use a lot of news groups at the time. I wasn't super vested in that, but I did get on there to check those out. But yeah, I also had the experience of, as I said, going to, like, chatting with very lonely people, and making it, even if I was definitely unprepared to handle these adult problems, I also really didn't want anyone to know that I was a young person. I really wanted to keep that. I definitely lied about my age, and I made up an occupation. I worked in a restaurant, because that was something I felt like I could lie about. And eventually, I did have a part-time job working in a kitchen, so it eventually wasn't a full lie. But at the time, I was lying, because I didn't want anyone to know how young I was, because I felt like that they would not treat me as an equal, which they would probably be right to do. Who would lie on the internet? Indeed, Lord Crashington, who would lie? I later would find out that a person that I had been playing with, who was in the same familia, if you will, with me, who was also playing a vampire, was also lying about her age, and was, in fact, 1 year older than me. And she had been portraying someone who was in their mid-20s, and I was in my early 20s. And she was just like, I'm sorry, I lied to you. You're actually older than me. And I was like, no, I've been lying about my age. You're still older than me, just not many years older than me. You're only 1 year older than me. And she was like, oh. And I can't remember if she started getting mad or not, but I have a memory of her being at least annoyed that I had lied to her, despite the fact that she had lied to me. And of course, she was a young woman on the internet, and so she should be lying, certainly, and to protect yourself. So I can understand it. I held no ill will to her for her lying ways. We do have plenty of color correcting stickers for this kit, because it is a kit from 2013, and it is a kit where they're changing the colors up, so I am not surprised. Oh, I also don't have any notice up top on top of the screen here of what colors I'll be using for our markers, because I'm only using the black marker, because this kit does not need gray or brown, because it is a dark red, and I don't think the brown will look good on it. So we'll just be using the black marker. But we're going to wait until I completely finish the chest and the backpack. We'll finish the chest, and then we'll panel line it, and then we'll panel line the backpack and put them together. Okay. So I need stickers 19 and 18. And again, there are a lot of goddamn stickers on this kit, which is, not my favorite. It's not bad, just not my favorite. Anyway, I did a lot of that kind of early internet and just talking about, message board stuff and, posting places and talking about stuff I was into, trying to play some role-playing games because I didn't have friends that did it, and then eventually I did have friends that did it, and then I didn't have friends that did it as often as I would like, or as, my friends weren't dedicated enough. They wanted to play video games, and I wanted to play role-playing games. So frustrated. Also, a lot of my friends that didn't want to play, like, D&D were in theater. Like, they were theater kids and into fantasy stuff, but they wanted to spend time. They wanted to spend time playing video games, and I didn't blame them. Problem is, they wanted to play video games that I wasn't good at, which were fighting games. Never good at those, but whatever. Now, one of those friends is working on the release of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, the Cowabunga collection, so, everything works out. And I'm building model kits, a thing that I didn't know I liked until the late 90s. I'm building model kits on stream. So everyone's doing, I think, what they're supposed to be doing. Let's see. So I mentioned how good Tunic is. I want to make sure I mentioned that. Because Tunic is great. Other things that I want to chat about here tonight. I sometimes get a list together of things to chat about, especially if the actual chat isn't bumping. New expansion for Hearthstone is coming on April 12th. Again, I don't think I'm going to be streaming it. I think I'm done streaming Hearthstone. That TMNT collection is going to be awesome. So here's the thing. I'll get back to Hearthstone in a second because I do want to talk about this, Harold. I think it's going to be really fun to have a bunch of people remember how the Ninja Turtle games, the arcade games, I think were really fun, especially for the time. But I don't know how many of those games are actually going to hold up and be interesting or good. But I do think that this collection seems to have a lot of love. Digital Eclipse has a lot of love, or they certainly put a lot of love into their collection. So I am excited for all the extra shit that's going to come into that, even if I do wonder about it. Most of the beat 'em up should still be good. Yeah, Ghost Valve. I think it's a lot of it's like they're going to put out like the also hi Ghost Valve, welcome. They're going to put out like the versions that like maybe are going to be weird. The SNES version of Turtles in Time was always better. So, yeah, well, there you go, Jatsu. Also, hi, Jatsu. Welcome. Yeah, I think it's going to be... I think we're just going to see, like... I don't know, pausing and rollback and stuff like that. Rewind, I should say. I think will be helpful for some of those games. I think it's just going to be, like... somebody's going to do a good write-up on, like, Fanbyte or something that's going to be like, hey, here are the games you should play in order of best to least best. Here are the ones you should skip. Here are the versions. If you want to play this game, you should play this version. Like, someone's going to do that work, and it will be very beneficial that person is doing said work. I think there's going to be a guide for people that like, hey, what Turtles game should I play in this collection? I think that'll be awesome. Now, again, talking about Hearthstone, because I will... Oops, I gotta move my mouse over there. I will chat a little bit about Hearthstone. New expansion coming the 12th. It is undersea themed. So we're going to get some Naga sea witches and some turtles and some sea monsters and stuff as cards, which is kind of fun. Some cards have been talked about yet. Now we've gotten a preview of some of the cards and 2 new mechanics. We're getting 2 new keyword mechanics. One keyword mechanic is colossal, which when a card that has colossal is summoned, it gets a certain number, like colossal times 1 up to colossal times I think 5 was the other one, summons a certain amount of other things, and then it has some effects like is immune unless you defeat the other ones. When it does damage, it buffs these things, that kind of thing. The interesting thing about colossal is that it doesn't mean a card you play. It could be summoned out of your deck by you or your opponent. So in Wild, maybe people will finally stop playing Dirty Rat, which disrupts combos because you could be summoning a colossal. And normally, if the card had a battle cry, summoning your opponent's card would be a bummer. But in this case, it would actually be a bummer for you. So that's interesting. I don't know if Colossal's gonna stick around. You never know with new things, like some of them, like Frenzy. Reborn was good at the time, but they haven't really come back to that. So you never really know with these new ones. There's another keyword called dredge, which is like, I believe this is a thing that is in Magic the Gathering and a few other card games. So it's interesting to see this here. Dredge is you look at the bottom 3 cards of a deck, and then you choose one of those cards to be the next card that you draw. Basically, you look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck, and then you move one to the top of your deck. It's not to your hand. You don't draw it. You just move to the top. So you'll next draw it. And then there are going to be some cards that put cards at the bottom of your deck or move your most expensive card to your bottom of your deck properly. Something like that. So that's going to be interesting. That is a mechanic, as I said, that has been in other card games. And so it should be interesting to see it in this one. And I'm sure there'll be some colossals that also support dredge, or battle cries that support dredge. So it'll be interesting to see that. And then there's a new minion type, Quillboars. That feels like there hasn't been a lot of Quillboars added to the game, but they're adding a new type called Naga. There have been Naga in the game. I assume those Naga will get renamed. And the nice thing about when you have a new minion type is then, people have pirate decks and Murloc decks. Now there'll be Naga decks. And there'll be, if you have another Naga, if you played a Naga this turn, and there'll be advantages of that. Who knows what these are going to do, if it's going to really shake up the meta, if it's going to do anything, if it's going to be like one and done, if they're going to support it. Who knows? As I said, Frenzy didn't really take off. But it's possible. And Dormant never was going to take off. They were trying to slow the game down, and it didn't. Because people don't want to play a slow game. The other thing I will point out for folks that haven't been playing Hearthstone for a bit, and maybe you want to dip back in, there is a legendary quest chain right now that tries to get you to play a lot of different modes in Hearthstone. But it's the same name, but that's not how MTV Dredge works. Thank you, Lashbrook. I was a bit unfamiliar. I knew the term existed, but it is, it's a different thing. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. This new quest, like the second thing was play mercenaries. So I already was like, it's not for everybody, because I don't want to ever recommend anyone play mercenaries. Luckily, I'm not that far into it, so it didn't take too long to do some bounties in it. Also, they fixed the Xyrella bug that counted death rattles that had been silenced before they died, which was a really fucking frustrating bug that has finally been fixed. They fixed a bunch of little bugs in the game, and that one really bothered me. So, hooray for that. Because it'll be like, no, don't play because Xyrella plays your death rattles. But if they were silenced before they died, they didn't go off. It wasn't death rattles that went off. It was a bad bug that should have been caught. I mean, look, I say should have. I understand. It's not great to work at Blizzard. It is hard to work, and it's a live game. where people are constantly looking for exploits and weird shit, and I'm sure that they haven't been as supported as they would like to be. So I shouldn't say that things should get fixed quickly, but there are weird bugs that don't affect anyone, and then there are bugs that affect a lot of people. And maybe Xyrella just wasn't getting enough play to be higher on the list, but it did feel like a thing that was very obvious that had been a problem. So I'm glad it's, I guess I should say, I'm glad it's getting taken care of. There were a bunch of bugs that were getting fixed, which is nice. Also, a quality of life thing. If you play Hearthstone on mobile, you don't have to make the cards in your hand bigger to play them. You can play them at mini size. So you don't have to tap on a card, make it bigger, and then drag it. You can just drag it from being a mini. Especially if you have a bigger phone or you're using like an iPad mini or something, or a regular size iPad, I guess. But using the other mode, probably not. Anyway, that sounds good. That is a good change for people. Other stuff. Happy St. Patrick's Day. As I said when the stream started, this is an olive colored shirt. I know it doesn't look olive on stream because of my lighting, but it is olive colored, so it is a green shirt. I am Irish. I am mostly German and a little French, but I do have some Irish in me. Of course, as you may be aware, Patrick is an English name, not an Irish name. St. Patrick was English. And in Ireland, it's not Patrick, it's Padraig. And so if you are going to, if you want to say shorten St. Patrick's Day, you do not say St. Patty's Day with two T's. You say St. Patty's Day with two T's. That's a little fun fact for you. Of course, I miss New York very much, but I was talking to a few people who also used to live in New York and now don't about how we did not miss this particular day. It is one of 2 days a year where I know I will never miss New York. It is St. Patrick's Day and it is Halloween. Amateur hour is how a friend used to describe it. A person who was someone that drank a lot but could hold their liquor. So they considered this day to be amateur hour because many people just make fools of themselves. St. Patrick's Day seems to be a holiday for people who can't drink, can't handle their alcohol, showing up to New York to have a bad time that they will then regret later. But they seem to do it many, many times. I should say there are actually 3 days. I should be clear. The third day is whenever they have SantaCon, because that sucks. SantaCon sucks. SantaCon is terrible. I had a nice chat around Christmas time with one of the founders of the Idiot Rod, which was the drunken bar crawl where you would get into... it was a very small event, but the idea was it was like the Iditarod, but you were under the influence of alcohol and in shopping carts. And they combined forces with SantaCon because some of the people would wear Santa costumes. And one of my friends who was a founder of the Iditarod did feel very bad that they had joined forces and regrets it. So I do appreciate that. I got an apology from somebody, so that's nice. Anyway, these are our beam sabers. We got beam sabers. We're going to put them on our backpack here. They just go here. We don't have beams on them yet, but we will put some beams on there at some point. We'll just do that for now. I'm not going to panel line this very dark color because nothing really shows up here, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I will panel line the light gray and the maroon that's on here. So I'm going to hit this with the marker. Again, this is the backpack. When you're doing your own kits, you don't have to do the backpacks. You can just do whatever you think is going to be noticeable for your posing. But I like to do the whole thing because, I don't know, I'm on stream. I might as well panel line all of it. because I like it. Uh, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so I don't miss St. Patrick's Day. I will tell you this. For many years, my mom and dad would come and visit me on St. Patrick's Day. They would come to New York. They lived in Connecticut at the time, so they would come. They would take the train in, and my mom and I would go to the St. Patrick's Day parade, and my dad would go to a bar that had the parade on, usually an Irish pub. We would get reservations for like lunch, a late lunch. My dad would go and drink at the bar, and then get us a table, and then we would join him. And we did that for many years. Some years it would be raining, and it would be awful. Other years it would just be lots of drunk people and not fun. One year was actually pretty cool. So I will tell you about the one year. It was the year 2002, where it was actually a pretty cool St. Patrick's Day, because we had a New York had suffered, obviously, the previous year had suffered a tremendous loss in September 2001, and the city. This was like the city's like welcome back. There was no Halloween stuff. There was a little bit of Christmas, but tourism wasn't big. This was, hey, come to New York. This was New York saying, we're open, we're doing stuff, we're doing St. Patrick's Day. Hey, come hang out. And everyone in the parade got the loudest cheers I had ever heard, because I had been going for a few years. Before that, incredibly loud cheers. People were psyched. Sanitation workers, well, they're in uniform, they get cheers. This fire department from Washington State, they came all the way to New York, give them some cheers. This high school band from some part of Brooklyn I've never heard of, I love those kids, check them out. And it was this the country had already gotten pretty nationalistic. It was like, for a lot of people, it was like us versus them, right? That had certainly happened. But for some people, that hadn't really come into play yet. And it was this kind of like pride that didn't feel bad yet. It would, certainly. But at the time, it really didn't feel bad. It didn't feel like nationalism. It felt like, like sticking it to them. Being like, oh, you think we can't do a cool St. Patrick's Day parade? Well, fuck off. We totally can. So it did feel like sticking it to Osama bin Laden. It really did. It was weird. It was a weird vibe. And that's the last time I enjoyed St. Patrick's Day parade. Because the very next 3 years in a row, it was rainy and awful. One year it was snowing. I don't think the amount of drunk nonsense increased. I just think I got older and I got less tolerant of drunken nonsense. As a person who does not drink, but doesn't generally mind being around friends of mine who are imbibing and having a good time. But I definitely do have an issue with strangers who are having a good time at the expense of my time. I certainly felt less great about that. But part of that is getting older, I remember I was in my mid-30s, and I had an improv group, and we got invited to drive up and do an improv show for these kids who were volunteering at a summer theater program. It was like summer theater, and they volunteered to like put on a production in town, and then also they were getting improv training as part of it. So some of them got to do an improv set. There was a jam at the end, and then we had like a team, and it was like one of the people that was teaching it was someone that I was very good friends with, invited my group up. We drove up. Again, I'm in my mid-30s, and the age range of it was like there were a couple people in their 20s and a couple people my age in our team. And we do the show, and it's really fun, and like it was a good time. We were missing somebody, and we invited somebody else who I really liked to play with us, and it was really fun. And we hung out with the person that invited us, was great. And we hung out with these college kids, these like late teens, early 20s kids. And of course, it was a Thursday, and they didn't have classes on Friday. They were gonna have a long weekend, so they were getting ready to fucking party. And they were like, "You should all hang out." And I didn't immediately say, "There's no fucking way I'm hanging out." But in my head, I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm hanging out." And luckily, the person who was driving was like, "I gotta drive all these people back to New York, so I think we're gonna go." But one person on my group, who was 22 at the time, was like, "I'm gonna stick around." And we were like, "It's like 2 hours to the city. How are you gonna get back?" And he's like, "I'll figure it out." He's like, "There are buses. I'll find a bus. I'll probably just come back tomorrow. Whatever. I don't have anything going on." And we were like, and it's that thing where I was like, "What are you talking about? Come with us. You came with us. You leave with, like, what?" And he's like, "No, I'm just going to see what's up." And like, look, do I know if he seemingly had a good time, took the bus back, found a bus the next day, took it back. No problems. He was cool. I don't know what he did that night. I can't remember to tell you, but like, even probably when I was his age, that adventure was not something I was interested in, but I was just like, yeah, I'm definitely too fucking old for that kind of adventure. Like, I'm definitely, at the time, and this was like 7 years ago probably. I think I was probably 35 when that happened. Like, yeah, I'm definitely too old for that kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out and see what's up. It's like, yeah, no, that's not me. Because I have had like that, like those elements of, yeah, we're just gonna see what's up. Like that was, folks that have been watching streams for a while that know me from other things know that, like, you could probably guess that I'm not the most adventurous person in the world, but like, I don't know, I definitely went to like figure stuff out, like or figure out what's going on, like see what's up. Like, I've definitely done that. There have been times in my life, like, where I was sitting at someone's apartment and they were like, "Hey, do you want to, like, just get a car and like, go to the beach?" And I'd just be like, "Well, it's winter. Okay, yeah, let's go to the beach. Let's go sit at the beach at the wintertime." Yeah, let's just drive. Let's drive to Coney Island. We'll get a car and go down to Coney Island. Like, I don't talk, or like, it would be a Friday and then I'd be hanging out and it would be late and I would be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go home." And then a friend of mine would be like, "Hey, do you want to go to Six Flags tomorrow? Like, let's just like, let's ask Austin because he has a car and let's go to Six Flags tomorrow." And I'd be like, "Yeah, all right. I'll go to, I don't ride roller coasters, but I like my friends, so sure. Let's just go to Six Flags tomorrow." Like, again, these are not things that I'm saying, "Hey, let's do this," but these were things where I was like, "Yeah, sure. I will do those things." Like, I was definitely up for it. I would rarely like cancel things I was doing to do something spontaneous, but I would certainly like agree to do things. I've definitely gotten less interested in doing that. Like, I was at PAX Unplugged in December, right as Omicron was hitting. Really fun. Really fun for that. But I had a good time at the convention anyway. And I did my panel, and I was talking to somebody after the panel who had come to the panel, and they were like talking about some stuff, and I was chatting with them, and and whatever, and they seemed cool, but whatever, it was fine. I was like, "All right, cool, thanks so much." And they're like, "Hey, me and some friends are going to this club if you want to go." And I was just like, "No, thanks," and just left. Because the next day I was going to have to get up and go to the airport to fly back to South Carolina. And I didn't know these people. And of course, even without social distancing and trying to, whatever, like, even if it had just been a normal Unplugged, and even if I was staying, like, I don't No, I'm not going to go to some club. I don't know you. I don't know what this is. It's just like, yeah, that there's no part of that appealed to me. That's just not how I am. That's just not my style. Um, Now, if it had been friends of mine, there have been plenty of PAXs and other conventions where I'm with friends and they're like, hey, we're going to go get Chinese food because one of us lives in this town. So we're going to go over there. And I'd be like, sure. And then there was this one time I was sitting there with friends, people you know, and we were having a good time. And then I was like, you know who would love this? Our buddy Casey. We should just call Casey because he wasn't at PAX, but he lived in Boston at the time. I was like, we should just call Casey and see if he wants to like join us for dinner. Why not? He'd probably like to just hang out. And he totally came, and it was great. Oh, I should say, somebody renewed their subscription. You might have to refresh to get that notification, or you may have chosen not to make that notification public, which is also okay. But thank you very much, whoever renewed their subscription, because I'm now at 46 subscribers out of 50, which is great. So thank you very much for that. Got to update that there. And okay, we're at 46, which is cool. Thank you, subscriber. And again, the notification might not come up, or you may have chosen not to say anything. And both of those are valid. I got to put a sticker on the front of this. I'm going to quickly panel line the back of this here. But yeah, I definitely have had my moments of adventure, but they usually come with friends. I am very unlikely to just go with a bunch of strangers because we were all at a convention. I did at the first PAX South go back to the hotel room or the hotel I was in, walk into the lobby, and there were some people recruiting folks to come play Carcassonne. And I was like, yeah, let me go throw my bag, brought my bag up to my room, and I was like, I'll be down in like 5 minutes, and came back, and they were still there, and they still needed people to play, and I played Carcassonne with strangers, and that was cool. And that's probably like the most outside of like being at the convention itself with random people and just seeing what's up. Like that was a really nice thing. I enjoyed that. I liked that. And hotel lobbies at like a convention, just people being like, hey, we're doing this thing. And I'd be like, cool. Let's see if this is fun. And that was a good time. But that's not my general MO. What about y'all? Let me ask you. Some of y'all are convention goers. At conventions, do you ever find yourself just being like, you see another person wearing the same badge or wristband and you're out in the same place and you end up striking up a conversation with somebody because you and the other person both ended up at this Jimmy John's? Or you're, like sometimes it's like, oh, you're in line and somebody needs another person for a multiplayer thing, and you're like, oh, I guess we're doing this. I guess we're all playing, I don't know, like, we're all playing Left 4 Dead 2 together. Okay. Let me know in the chat. I like to hear from you. Also, if you don't feel like chatting tonight, that's okay as well. As always, friends, you can be a lurker, and that is cool, and I'm not upset about it. I like when people chat. I also understand if that's not your vibe. Some people are watching on devices. They're not near their keyboards. And some people just never want to fucking chat. And it's cool. Harold says, I played Cards Against Humanity with Strangers at PAX, but it was in the convention center. Oh, yeah. I played Secret Hitler at the PAX West, the convention center, the Act Theater there. Cards was running it, and they were demoing it like kind of attached because one of the makers of Secret Hitler was one of the founding members of Cards. So they were testing it, and I played that. I ended up playing with the strangers because that's what you do with demos. And then when they were done with like demoing, I was just around talking to other people because I was friendly with some people. And then it was just like, people were like, hey, Tommy, could we just keep playing? And so we just kept playing. But yeah, I think playing Carcassonne just in a hotel room or a hotel lobby was one of the only times I ever did that. I don't know if I ever did that again. It's possible I did. Um, but and I'm just forgetting. I was on a podcast once, at a convention, outside of New York Comic Con. I was coming out with a big bag of model kits that I had purchased, and someone came up to me and pointed a Zoom H4n at my face. Well, they pointed at their face and said something, and then they pointed at me, and they were like, "Hi, I have a podcast about anime. Can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Sure, okay." And I got interviewed. That was very weird because that person just like bum rushed me to ask me about anime, and I was like, "I mean, I will talk to you about anime. What do you want to talk about?" We just talked about the convention, uh, and model kits, and how long I had been going to New York Comic Con, and how I felt it had changed over the years, and all kinds of stuff. And then I plugged my buddy's store that was at the convention, even though I was pretty sure this podcast, if it was coming out, was not coming out in time to plug it. But I was like, I'll plug his website because I didn't have anything related to it. And I was like, my buddy's got a shop in there and a website and blah, blah. Back when PAX South was a thing, says Lashbrook, I had a pretty big group I rolled with, so I never really had too much with strangers. Nice, yeah. I had a few, like, especially South. South was a good one because there would be like people that I knew, and South was everybody's like light show from my end. As a person who knows more people that are working at conventions, right? That was the light show where they'd be like, "Yeah, we got enough. We have more than enough people at the booth, or like too many people at the booth, or like that was the show that I had two different friends who were enforcing, but it was very light for them. They never felt like too stressed with their enforcement shifts. So that was a show where I could just like see my friends. There was at least one birthday party that I remember going to that was just full of people who were just like, this is so nice. This is just so nice. And one of the Austin dev houses, because major cities often have apartments that are rented out by somebody in the game dev space in indie development, and usually all their roommates are also game dev. That happened. There was an Austin house. There was one in Vancouver. Many cities that have a dev scene. I've known several dev houses in New York, and I remember like going out to eat with a bunch of those folks. And then I would get to know a couple of them years later. And it's always fun to hang out with game devs because they're like, "Hey, so what are you working on?" And I would be like, "I am not a game developer." And they'd be like, "Oh, cool. Well, what do you do?" And I'd be like, "I work at a comedy theater." And they would be like, "I really want to talk to you right now about that," because they were kind of tired about talking about video games. And that was always really fun. South was for me. South was good for me due to anxiety issues, making public stuff tough for too long. It was good like that. Yeah, it goes foul. It was definitely a chill convention. It even when it like I only went to the first two, and I know that it did grow some as it went on, but it did feel like you might like PAX Unplugged because PAX Unplugged it's tabletop themed, right? It's tabletop focused, but it's still small. It was still smaller than South, and the show floor. I mean, last year the show floor was pretty quiet because it was a huge space and they like limited how many people came because of COVID and all of that. But it was still like a convention where you could. I mean, I don't have anxiety issues the way you do, but it definitely was a chill experience. Whereas I've never felt chill at West or East. When I went to Emerald City Comic Con, which is a big convention, but it's smaller than PAX West, but it's at the Washington State Convention Center, it was remarkable how much more calm I was at that convention because there's just so much less going on. because like here's how quiet it is. PAX West, right? When you go to PAX West, all the panels are in hotel ballrooms and hotel room areas, right? None are in the like near the show floor. There's like a tower, the little extra tower. All the podcasts happen there or in small rooms on like the second and fourth floor, which usually just had like tabletop stuff in it at PAX West. But in this instance, that's where the panels were, because it was just like it's just a smaller convention, a much more chill, relaxing time. It was so weird to be like, oh yeah, oh, you can like breathe here. Harold says there was one time at PAX East where some friends dragged me out my out of shape ass Chipotle. Oh, you had to like walk to Chipotle. Yeah, I mean that convention center was always tough to get food. Eventually, when the Five Guys opened up, or the Shake Shack, yeah, Shake Shack, it's Shake Shack. When the Shake Shack opened up, that was huge, because when PAX East first started in that area, there was like, the Starbucks was closed on the weekend because the Starbucks there made all its money from the people that worked in a couple buildings there, office workers. And the office workers didn't work on the weekends, so that Starbucks was closed on the weekends. And there was like a deli, I remember, that like was open when I got there on Thursday, and their Friday hours, they closed at like 2:30. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of people at the convention. They're like, yeah, we never really get convention goers. And I was like, okay. And then I remember they were open that Saturday with like, they had to like write a sign saying, we're actually going to be open, because there was such a demand. They ran out of chips, which of course they did. But like, they were very surprised to underestimate how many, like, that gamers wanted to buy chips, because they didn't know. Most of the time, those businesses don't know what convention is there. I think PAX West, they know, because it's an institution now, and it's the same weekend. But like PAX East, they're like, oh yeah, well, I don't know, there's probably dentists coming or some shit. Who cares? They were unprepared. The worst part about PAX South was encountering people who had incorrect opinions about Whataburger. Well, I understand, Lashbrook. My opinion about Whataburger is, it's not worth waiting in a line if the line requires that Whataburger hire an off-duty police officer to police the line. You should go somewhere else and not wait in that long line. Whataburger is good. It is not wait in a line that's out the door of the restaurant good. That's my opinion. That Whataburger is not worth that. But you know, what is really? In general, I think that's a fine establishment for burgers and fries and a drink. I don't remember what I ordered there. It doesn't matter. But I did order, I got a burger of some sort. I thought it was good. I did Whataburger in Los Angeles, and that was good. Honestly, that's not a line thing. Okay. Oh, there's just cops there? It's not because there was a line. It's just that Whataburgers in major cities have to hire police. Okay. There was a McDonald's, not every McDonald's in New York, but there was a McDonald's I would go to on the Lower East Side that always had police there, that always needed police there. That was just a thing that you always knew. It is wait in the drive-thru for 45 minutes after getting out of the bar good. I mean, yeah, dirty. First off, hi, dirty. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, get out of the bar. Whataburger is made for that. Hey, I need grease to absorb stuff that is inside my body. I totally get that. I totally understand that. Late night burger, definitely good. I definitely had some Whataburgers that were a real popular spot to just have cops hanging around. Yeah, Lashbrook, that's also true. But in specifically this Whataburger in San Antonio, that was like, they were there working. They were getting paid to be there and not just milling around. Let's see. The salty grease of the sausage taquitos are the best at the time. Okay, I got you. I hear you. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't doubt you. Um, San Diego has a Mexican restaurant chain. I don't know if they're outside San Diego, but I know they have a couple in San Diego called Lolita's, which is a bad name. But they had a bunch of food that was clearly meant for very drunk people. Because the one that I went to was right near the Pirates stadium, and so you could tell that they catered to very drunk people coming out of that place, and also people looking for any kind of deal they could fucking get that were at San Diego Comic-Con and had been spending so much money, like me. So I was looking for the value, and I was told that that was a place that you could get a good amount of food for your money. And I was not drunk because that's not me, but I definitely got the burrito that had chicken taquitos inside of it. That was also like $9, but felt like it was like $20 worth of food. I believe that they had renamed it to be Deadpool themed because of San Diego Comic-Con. And I think it was like $9 with a drink. It was a very fucking good deal. And I got that like 3 times, I think. Because it was a very good deal. And there was, inside the burrito, they had avocado in there. A little guacamole. It was real good. I don't know why I remember that, but I fucking do. Something to outdo Taco Bell for drunk people, indeed. Well, here's the thing, right? It's San Diego, so like you can get incredible tacos for nothing. Like, so I mean, you know, in the same way that in New York there's great pizza and also Domino's is still in business. So that's the same thing in San Diego. There's still like Taco Bell is still going to be okay, even if there is you can go to a taco stand and get the best taco you've ever had in your life. Like, that's still a thing. All right. The iconic pizza place Sbarro's. Yes, Times Square Sbarro's survived the pandemic. So, you know, it's a thing. All right. Hold on a second. It's a little after 10, which is cool. And I'm going to we're going to take a pause for the cause in a moment. I do want to say real quick, if you're new to the stream, I'm going to talk about ways you can support it. All of the things I'm going to talk about here are optional. None of these things are things that you definitely need to go and do. But if you'd like to do, I would love it. Before I get into that, real quick, the art for Tunic, the cool like key art for Tunic, was done by Aura Hack. Erica made that, which rules. I did not. I was promoting my stream yesterday with art that Erica did, and that is unbelievable and so cool. Aura Hack rules, and I just want to give a shout out to Aura for doing incredible art. Not the art in the game, but the key art, the like promotional art for Tunic, that little fox. That is art, and I didn't even know that I was using her art to promote my stream yesterday. And I just want to give a shout out to Aura Hack. Great people, cool art. Anyway, if you are currently a subscriber of the old Build with Bear workshop, let's put the Bear Cave, the Lego. If you're a tier 2, you have the site emote in the chat. Again, I'm going to do some self-promotion. Becoming a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here, and I would appreciate it if you would like to become a subscriber at the just the $5 level. You could gift a sub. You could join the gift sub leaderboard. Aristofan is the lonely person at the gift sub leaderboard. It's just Aristofan hanging out there. You could do that if that's something you'd like to do. Also, Harold gave some bits earlier, and Ironhide the Fourth also gave some bits this month. Bits and coins, always appreciated if you would like to do that. These are options. None of these things are things you have to do. Also, if you have Amazon Prime linked to your Twitch, maybe you don't. Maybe you're not always making sure you're using that Prime Gaming token for somebody. And you got that Prime Gaming token, just burning a hole in your pocket. Spend Jeff Bezos' money on me. It's, I mean, it is your money because you're the one that has Amazon Prime, either the yearly subscription or, you pay once a year or you pay it monthly. But you got that. That. It's free real estate, folks. So use that for me. That's an option. You've got options. Also, if you're like Pat, I don't attach a credit card to Twitch. I don't use my PayPal on Twitch. That's not me. I'm not about that. Well, I also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBaer. There's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. Check out the tiers. Maybe there's a tier there that speaks to you, and you're like, that's how I want to support the Pat Baer and his model kit and occasional video game endeavors. That is a thing you could do. Also, my YouTube channel. You could join my YouTube. Of course, you could join for free over at youtube.com/PatBaer. Subscribe for free there, or join for $2 a month, and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. And that's just another way to support me there. Direct donations is also a thing you could do. I got 2 ways of doing that, and if that's something like, if monthly isn't something you're interested in, but you would like me to be able to keep buying model kits in the future, you could go over there and do a direct donation, because everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which also includes AdSense for my YouTube videos. What else? Patreon and Twitch. All that money goes to buying model kits. It goes into a fund I earmark it for model kits. Yesterday I spent with shipping over $80 on 3 model kits. I spent a lot of money on model kits. They're all model kits from Gundam Wing because I love Gundam Wing. It was my first Gundam series that I truly, truly loved. So I bought a bunch of model kits, and that money came out of money from Patreon and Twitch and AdSense, stuff from YouTube and memberships and all that. All of that money came from there. Now, the kit I'm currently working on, I also bought from that. But if you would, instead of me building something else from my backlog, because I do have a backlog, you could say, Pat, instead, the next thing you build should be for me. Because you could buy something from my Amazon wish list. Anything that comes from my wish list, it gets priority. It jumps the queue. There is a pre-order for this very small little Wolverine mech thing. They do this with any popular character with Lego, where they just like, hey, what if that character had a mech that was kind of them? But I just love the idea of a tiny microfig of Wolverine in a giant mech that has claws. So I put that up for pre-order. I don't know. I got a few things for pre-order. Inexpensive Lego kits, expensive Lego kits. For whatever reason, one of the only Gundam Build Fighters tri-kits that I've never built is at a reasonable price for a high grade. It's at $19 right now, and that is a very good price for a high grade. That is the Gundam Build Fighters tri, the Burning Gundam, which is a variation of the Burning Gundam for G Gundam, because that's what a thing that happens in Build Fighters and Build Fighters Tri and Build Divers and all that. Is it's like old made new. That's just such a good price with free Prime shipping. Inexpensive kits, very expensive kits, some gear at the bottom, including a gift card that if you bought this $50 gift card to GameStop, I would use it to buy a download code of WWE 2K22. I'll chip in the last $10 plus tax and buy that, but I'm not going to spend $60 of my own money on WWE 2K22. And if I get that game, I will do like CPU versus CPU battle royales with weird wrestling characters that people upload. That is my promise to you. So if you want to see just some weird shit, like Captain America versus like the nerdcore rapper Mega Ran. Like, I'll do it because why not? We'll throw Greg Miller in there, whatever. We'll get weird with it. We'll see if there's anybody uploaded any League of Heels stuff, that kind of thing. So you can consider that. Alternative to Amazon, because it's nice to have that, is You could buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store, and then I will buy something for USA Gundam Store. That's another option. Let's see. Okay. Ways to support me that don't involve money. I have a Discord. You can join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff that they're working on. The Discord is very nice. Consider jumping in there. We'll get back to building in just a minute, but I just want to go through my ad reads here. A couple of videos for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I talk about 4 anime that I recommend that have very weird premises, but are good shows that I think are worth watching, even though they have weird premises. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever done this. I don't think in the many episodes that I've done of Pat Baer's Anime Club, I don't think I ever talked about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure before. So, spoiler, I talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because it's just a weird franchise. It's just the weirdest fucking thing. It's a show that has, like, we're going to fight a one season, it's about a vampire. Another season, it's a small town murder mystery. Another season, it's a prison break. And it's just like the weirdest shit. It's the weirdest. And then there's an upcoming one that is going to be a cross-country, like, rat race kind of thing. Wacky races. It's just the weirdest show. And it's one of 4 shows I recommend in Pat Baer's Anime Clubs. Check that out. And then on Do You Remembaer, my ongoing video series where I read something on the internet, an article, and then I try to remember as much as I can about it, I talk about the Rabbit 286. A portable computer, not a laptop, a literal computer like PC that had an attached keyboard and a monitor that looked like a large lunchbox that you carried around and plugged into power. And you just had a computer. And it was also called the Rabbit. And the people that made it had only made keyboards and other accessories and never made their own computer and made their own computer. And it's cute. It's a cute thing. And so I talked about the Rabbit 286. And I had a good time talking about that. I don't know. It was silly, but I had fun. So check that out if you haven't seen that video. We're going to talk about some manga. We'll talk about some anime. And I'm going to drink a little water before we get into that. So, hold on a second. Let me get some stuff together here. We'll dramatically transition back to the stream. That was a dramatic transition. We're back to model kit making. Oh, let me wait. Hold on one second. We're almost back to model kit making. And, okay, we're back. Hello. I'm going to talk to you about this manga. I've been fucking waiting to talk about this thing. I was waiting to have more chapters because I was like, I need to know more about the greatest philosopher with 0 magic before I could talk about it on stream. Because what the fuck's going on with this thing? Y'all. Okay. So, this is a reincarnation fantasy series, not an isekai. This dude, our main character, has been reborn. He originally was. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I got some stickers to put on this kit here. So I'm going to apply some stickers and then talk kind of some mess about the greatest philosopher with 0 magic. So this dude, when he was alive the first time around, he was known as the Great Philosopher. He was this magic user that furthered the arts of magic and did all these things, all these incredible magics that people haven't seen since. No one else could do this shit. But here's the thing. At that time, he didn't have any magic ability. And people didn't know how to believe it because he would have fireballs. And he would have he could heal people. And he could poison monsters. And he could use wind attacks, and he had all these incredible abilities. And so people were like, that's incredible. You can do all of this even though you don't have any magic. So he dies, and on his deathbed, he's like, I couldn't use magic. And that's misinterpreted. And then 500 years later, he's reborn. And he's like, okay, I'm psyched about this because maybe I can use magic again. and he can't use magic again. He doesn't have the ability to use magic. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to hide that I'm the great philosopher because I want to try to learn magic and whatever. And, I'm the son of a count, and so I'll have a good life. And my little sister is adorable, and I didn't really have family before, so I'll just, look after her, and it'll be fine, and, we won't run into problems. Well, problems arise, and he eventually has to solve those problems. And he does it with what he says is not magic. He says it's physics. And you're like, Pat, you keep saying that he doesn't have any magic, but he does things that people consider to be magic. Is it that he has technology? Does he use futuristic technology or technology from a culture, an earth culture? No. Okay, well, does he use sleight of hand? Does he do street magic, but people think it's real magic? Is he pulling that? Because he's no. Is he a scientist? No. He's not using his knowledge of science to do things he's not making explosions by mixing chemicals or anything like that. Is it the thing where he's is it the TV show Psych, where he's pretending to be a psychic because that's easier than saying that he has a photographic memory and a good deduction skills, but because more people will believe him if he says I'm a psychic than believe that he's just smart? No, it's not that either. Here's the deal with this fucking show, or this fucking book, The Greatest Philosopher with Zero Magic. He doesn't have any magic. He's just a superhero. He's a mutant. He's just an advanced, physically strong person. Even though he's a child. They're like, oh, he has zero magic. Because you know how he uses wind magic? No, he doesn't. He moves his hand with such force that it creates wind like an air cutter that cuts through the wind. His fire magic, explosion magic, is him shaking his leg so much that when he stops shaking it, it causes fire to shoot out. His sweat has antibodies inside of it because he exposed himself to a bunch of poisons. So his sweat and fluids have healing properties. So this manga's answers to, oh, he doesn't actually have magic. Because people will be like, oh, it's this incredible healing magic. And he goes, that's not what it is. He's bothered by the fact that they think that he can do magic. Because the answer is that he's just an X-Men. He's just fucking he's just like Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean Grey and Storm all rolled up into one, but he's it's not magic. It's Mashal. Yes, dirty. Mashal, which presented to be the story of what happens when just a strong person goes to all magic school. Actually, that manga is about what happens when One Punch Man goes to a magic academy. Because One Punch Man still has superhuman strength, Saitama. So that's actually what that show is about, which is fine. It's just not what was presented. So this show, this manga, at the very least, doesn't it pretty quickly kind of shows you what's up. And look, does it have a bunch of bullshit in it that sucks? Yes. There's a lot of reoccurring gags. For some reason, it is a harem. It does not need to be a harem, but it is. His younger sister is there, and of course she thinks the world of him. She's always around. One chapter they met the Duke's daughter, and she's just like, I love the great philosopher, and you're the reincarnation of him, so we're always gonna hang out. The princess is like, you're interesting. I'm hanging out with you. Also, his dad hired some adventurers to travel with them, even though they don't have to worry about him because he's super strong. And they're all just he does a magic, and there's a recurring gag where someone will be like, I never thought I'd see that magic in my lifetime. That's the third time they've said it. It's a whole thing. That's all unnecessary. Also, I should say this. I kind of mentioned this, how people think he's the reincarnation of the great philosopher. That includes his dad, who is just like, immediately is just like, my son, we're going to have a party. My son defeated his first monster. It's the rebirth of the greatest, philosopher. And I do like that because often what happens in these kinds of like reincarnation stories, these anime that go into that, is that for a long time our characters like try to hide who they are and what their abilities are, and that can't happen in this show because he tries to, but no one will let him. Because in some other books and in manga and anime, you'll have this thing where people are like, I wonder why he's so strong. And it's like, well, he's clearly the reincarnation of a demon lord. Like, that's fine. And they're like, oh, I wonder why he can use all these weird magics and why he's wearing weird clothes. And he brought up a country called Japan that I've never heard of and all that. At least in this one, they're just like, no, you're definitely the hey, you say you have zero magic, but you can do incredibly cool magic. So you're definitely a reincarnation. And I appreciate that they're not he's not fooling anyone by trying to like be subtle with it, which I like. I think I like that in shows where they're just like, or stories where they're just like, you know what? No, you could try, but like, we know something's happening here. So, yeah, I mean, that's my general thought on the greatest philosopher with zero magic. It is so weird, and I think a complete cop out that he has zero magic because he has superhuman strength and ability. That to me just feels like, I don't know. If he was unaware, if he was like doing it accidentally, that might be more interesting. But the fact that he's just like, who cares that they think you can do magic and you can't? Like, and you're not actually doing magic. Like, who cares? Just fucking say, yeah, that's what that is. Sure. I don't know. It's fine. It's not great. Also, as I said, it does not need to have so many ladies in it. There's like, I think I'm on chapter 9, and there's his sister, the Duke's daughter, the princess, and then at least 4 female adventurers that are just hanging out with him. Oh, and also, the princess has at least 1 female knight under her command. So it's just like, that's right. They just introduced like a couple more ladies. Like this show is just like, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of ladies around there, and we're not going to introduce them slowly. It's going to be really interchangeable, and none of them are going to feel like important characters. What do you care? You're the one reading this, Pat. They got real personal with it. It was weird. They were like, what do you care? Just watch it, or read it, I should say. Anyway, that's the manga I wanted to talk about. What am I going to talk about on Saturday? I got another manga I always try to have something to talk about here, manga-wise, because I always try to read new stuff and keep up with things. What's the next one I'm going to talk about? Oh, yeah. Become a wise man by reincarnating in another world and live as an adventurer. It's another one that's fine. It's another reincarnation story. This one is an isekai, but that one's kind of interesting. So we'll talk about that on Saturday, I'm sure. Now let's talk about some anime. I got some anime to chat with you all about. I've been watching my stories. 2 of them are isekais. Two of them are the video game is real now isekai, and then one of them is of course it's just a fantasy show. That's just how it worked out for this particular part of the season. Again, next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be recording a live episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, where I will talk about the winter season, because it won't be over by then, it will be close to it. But at this point, I have my opinions on the shows. And then I will be talking about a preview of the spring season. And hey, the slice of lives are coming. We're going to get some cute girls doing shows. At least one of them is going to be a fantasy world about real estate. Another fantasy show about real estate, but this time with cute girls instead of a fun, nice dragon. There's a bunch of stuff coming out next season that I'm interested in, including some isekai that I will be watching because I do. But yeah, plenty of romantic comedy stuff and slice of life are coming next season, which is good because we didn't really get much this season. Anyway, we did get She Professed Herself, Pupil of the Wise Man, and some of the characters that I don't like in the show haven't been around for a little bit, and that's been good. I don't have anything. I'll say this. A stronger season would mean that I would not watch this. I would probably marathon this after, like in the week, the time in between shows. I can't imagine that I would watch this show week to week and keep up with the episodes in a better season because it is not strong. They kind of explain what's going on in it, but not enough to my liking. Good night, Harold. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Thanks for coming by the old stream and chatting, and thanks for the bits. Yeah, my general feeling on She Professed Herself, Pupil of the Wise Man is I think the voice actress doing this thing is doing a great job with what she's told to do, but her voice is annoying. The character's voice is annoying. She's supposed to be a younger lady because the guy used to play an old man and then he got turned into a young lady and then he got isekai'd. But it's mostly about how people think she's cute and don't think that she's actually strong and then being surprised when she's strong. Instead of it being about how she's a guy trapped in a woman's body, which is one of the isekais I'm not watching. Or the only isekai I'm not watching this season. The total knockout in a fantasy. Total fantasy knockout. I don't know. Total Babe. I forget the name of it. It's a show that I'm not watching because that one is too much about that. Because it's supposed to be like more of a comedy, but I don't think it's a good one. But let's see. What was I saying? Okay. Yeah, so that's that. Again, as I said, not a big fan of the voice the character is doing. Ooh, did I build this wrong? No. Okay. Sorry, I was supposed to turn this part around, and I didn't. I was like, oh no, this isn't connecting the way it's supposed to be. But that's because I wasn't doing it right. Pat, I was fucking it up. So now we do this. Yeah. Now I'm doing it right. Okay, anyway, more about this show. More about the next one. In the Land of Leadale. This is a show, again, another person wakes up and now the video game is real. In this one, we've slowly been introduced to other people who are also... I think we've met now, like, 5 other people that had played the game that were also players, and they woke up at different times. And I was hoping to have more exploration of that. Ooh, I forgot to put a piece in here, so I gotta pop a piece in. I gotta pop this apart again, folks, because I did mess up, and I didn't put in the polycap that I need, that we're gonna need to put the hands in this kit. So I'm gonna have to get that open. I'm gonna use a spudger here. And we will try to separate these parts without breaking anything. Can we do it? Hopefully. So we're just going to slowly try to separate this piece out here without breaking anything. We'll see how we do. Anyway, the Land of Leadale I think is fun. As I said, instead of focusing on the mystery, which I would have liked, we're focusing more on the fact that last episode she found a young lady who was the only survivor of a zombie attack in a village, and she's decided to adopt her. So this was episode 11 of 12. So I'm not expecting that we're really going to get into too much more on episode 12, which is a shame. I don't think we're going to get much more about like the actual bigger mystery. I think we're just going to see her build a house. We did get we got to see the various characters we've seen before get introduced to a young lady. the young lady that she's taking in as her daughter, which was fun. And then also there was a moment there where we introduced another maid character, another cat person who was a maid, and this one's got a bad attitude about the other cat maid, and it's fine. And I'm like, okay, sure. This is an unnecessary element to it, but whatever. Yeah, overall, it was. I would describe it as fucking fine, but like not necessarily what I want for that show. Because I want to know more about the mystery. I'm interested in the plot, and I'm a little less interested in just the like slow life elements of it. But I do appreciate that it exists because it's a very pretty show, and I like that it is not all action. That it does have a lot of just like pretty laid back, like introspective moments. Like generally, when people get trapped in video games or trapped in a world that is now a video game come to life, they just fucking accept it. And I do like that Kana is like, oh, holy shit, I died and now I'm here. And what the fuck? That she has some moments of like coming to terms with it. She kind of comes to terms with it, I think, a little fast, but she still does try to come to terms with it. All right, let's panel line this real quick. Just hit some of this. I don't want to go too far with it because, you know, it's on the side, but this lovely maroon, we do want to have it shine. We're not going to do the black parts here. We're just doing the maroon, so we don't have to do much. Just a little bit of paint here and there. Also don't want to get much on this. These color correcting stickers, which we did have to put on here, which is fine. But again, not my favorite. But I understand. This is a high grade. You gotta cut corners where you can cut corners. The last show I want to talk to you about very briefly is The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Again, I mentioned this last week. I do like it when when Wayne's plans don't go the way he would have liked, because he is like a conniving, calculated person who's trying to, who will still end up like stepping up and doing things, but keeps claiming he wants to take things easy and take the easy way out. But he is... when things don't quite go his way, either when someone close to him ends up like playing the game as well and, throwing it back in his face, or when he is confronted by someone who reacts in a way that he was not anticipating and he has to quickly deal with it. I like that. I think that is that's good. That's some good anime stuff. I am going to use the hand that will allow me to hold a weapon on this arm, because this is the right arm, so we want to be able to have the sword or the gun in this character's hand in the Red Astray inversion. So we're going to go with the open hand, which is a 28. We are almost done with one arm. We've done the head, the chest, the backpack, and the arm. We're making really good progress on this kit. This might be depending, we might finish this up on Saturday. Because we'll still have to do a whole other arm, feet, legs, waist. There's not a lot of... the sword is all one piece. The sheath, the shield, and the gun. The gun is only a couple pieces, so I don't necessarily think we're actually going to finish the stream. Well, I guess that we haven't finished all of the backpack, because there is parts of the backpack. We did some of the backpack. We didn't do all the backpack, I guess. So maybe we won't actually finish it on Saturday, but we're getting a lot done today. We're making good progress on this. Pretty easy to put together, but pretty satisfying to look at kit. So that's always nice. We need 25. Part 25. Great. All right, now's the part of the stream where you let me know. What are you playing? What are you watching? Going to the movies. You listen to music that you think like this fucking album kicks ass, or you're like, oh, I've been playing this game and it's great. Let me know in the chat. Love to hear from you, friends, about what you're playing, what you're doing, what you're into. please let me know, and I will tell you. As I said last night on stream, played a bunch of the very lovely Tunic. Played more of it after the stream, and I played a little bit of it today. Not much because we had company over, and then I had some stuff I had to do. I was working on a project for not anything related to this, just like an actual like job thing. So I played a little bit of that today before the stream started. I had to set an alarm to make sure that I stopped at an appropriate time so that I could get prepared for the stream, because otherwise I might have not noticed the time because I was engrossed in Tunic, which is great. Pick it up. If you have a Game Pass, you can just get it on Game Pass on Xbox, or spend the money. I got a code. I should mention to get a code from Finji. I'm not bragging. I'm informing. Aristophan says, I saw The Batman last weekend. It was a good Batman movie. The Batman was a good The Batman? That's cool, Aristophan. I will eventually probably rent it. I don't think I'm going to I'll probably rent it from Apple at some point and watch it that way. I'm definitely not going to the movies. The only movie that is tempting me is Sonic 2. I don't have anyone to go with, and I was like, maybe I'll just go to a daytime matinee of Sonic 2 or something, I don't know. I have been thinking I might do that, but also I might not because I don't really want to go to the movies. Do you think Gundam will ever get its Batman Arkham Asylum moment for games? It seems like they just get trend-crashing games or cashing games these days, and over the past few gens, it was just random shooters of generally mediocre quality. Lord Crashington, I think the best Gundam will ever be is Super Robot Wars. I think this Overwatch clone could be good, but they're not looking to do a Arkham Asylum thing. They're not trying to I don't think they're ever trying to make the definitive Gundam game. I just think they're trying to make Gundam games that appeal to gamers and maybe also people that like Gundam. And they're just going to always make compromises. But yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to get to the definitive Gundam game that isn't Super Robot Wars, which is obviously not definitive. But I think you're more likely going to have Musho games with Gundam, Dynasty Warrior kind of games, that kind of thing. That's more likely. And then they're going to try to do an Overwatch thing. In 3 years, there'll be a Gundam Battle Royale. If there already isn't one on mobile, they'll do that. It's just, maybe they would do it maybe they would do a tactics game. They would do an Into the Breach that was Gundam skinned, but maybe they won't. I don't know. Also, Ghost Valve saw The Batman. Lastberg says, I think it's going to come to HBO Max eventually. Yeah, I'm sure. Played something called Tunic that I found on Game Pass. Dirty says that I got approved for my 9 days of PTO that starts next Friday. I'm thinking of going to watch EAO on Monday matinee when no one else will be there. Hell yeah. Matinees. I think that to me, if I am going to go to the movies, it'll be matinee. Enjoy Tunic. Tunic is fantastic. It is being produced by Finji. It was made originally by one person, who eventually did start hiring out to make that happen. But it was generally one person was the head developer of it for quite some time. And it is a very cute game. I really like Tunic. Aristophan says, it was the first movie in 6+ months. I used to go to the movies every week, so I do miss it. I hear you, Aristophan. And I want to make that clear. I wasn't judging you on going to the movies. I wasn't like, you went to the fucking see the Batman? What are you doing? I understand. I wish that I could just rent it now. But I didn't go to... The last movie I saw was Sonic in theaters before the pandemic, which was not right before, but it was a little before the pandemic. But I usually see maybe 4 movies at most a year, so that was just never my thing. But I also understand if you miss it. I get that. Lord Crasher says, I like to see the Batman, but long runtime and my work schedule has made that hard since I don't want to see it on the weekend. I hear you. It's a long movie. You're getting a lot of the Batman when you're going to see the Batman. Um, I'd really like the idea of Gundam v Zeta Gundam, where you had third-person action-based missions and could have alternate endings for some scenarios. Yeah, I like I said, a tactics game, even like Into the Breach style tactics game, seems like it should be a thing that happens. But I think we're gonna get action games. You're gonna get Musho. You're gonna get your. I mean, even another Gundam, like obviously, like not obviously. Would I love to see Arc System make a Gundam fighting game? Yes, I would love another stab at the Gundam fighting game, and especially by the anime fighting masters over at Arc System. I think that would be cool as hell. I don't think we're ever going to get that cool as hell thing that I just described. But I do think that it would be very fun. But yeah, like I said, I just don't see it as a possibility, unfortunately. Look, I'm probably not going to play the Gundam, the new Gundam. But if they have a Deathwing in there, or Death Sight, not a Deathwing. Deathwing is from Hearthstone in Warcraft. Death Sight. If there's a Death Sight in there, I'll check it out. I mean, I'll check it out. I'll look at it. I mean, I'll look at it. Like I said, guys, relax. I'm thinking about maybe I will. I don't know. Let's see. I played a little Dorf Romantique on Tuesday just cause I wanted to play. Dorf Romantique is weird. Their like latest like not update, but their latest like blog post was like, hey, tell us what kind of modes you'd like us to put in the game, which is nice to chat with the community, but also a little worrying because I'm like, oh no, are you all out of ideas, or if you have like disagreements about what you should do? Like, I'm not a game developer. I can tell you like what changes I would like, which they did include like put the undo button into classic mode. Like definitely, that was great. Like I can make those concessions, but like I don't feel qualified to tell you what kind of game mode you should put in Dorf Romantique. That's weird to me. Battle Royale, yes. A gun, yeah. Yeah, they should be a Dorf Romantic Battle Royale, indeed. That would be very funny if that was I just posted that. And then Power Wash Simulator was talking about they're talking about some the force camera, or like fixed camera, not force camera, fixed camera mode, which seems really good. I'm excited to try that when the update comes out. And then they were talking about some of the new stages, which I'm also excited about. Haven't really gone back. Every once in a while, I'll pull up Power Wash Simulator and just like mess around. But I haven't really delved too deep into it. I like to get back into it again because I've done everything in it. So now it's just like I don't know. Just now I have like I can go and use the most powerful washer I have, and like I should go back to the mayor's, like outside of the mayor's house that you have to like wash. And now they have the distance, like I have a good quality for that. I could do that. I should also go back to like the one, like the first big map that I always like to test new gear, like new powerful gear on, is the skate park, because that was that felt like I was never gonna finish it, and now I feel like I could like zip through it with the different stuff, especially all the graffiti. I feel like that would just come off easy. So I don't know. Maybe I'll load up tomorrow. I don't. Friends, I'll tell you this. I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I got nothing. I got nothing on the docket. I have, I'm probably, if the weather cooperates, I'm going to go for a walk, but I don't have anything to do outside of that. I don't have any projects due. I don't have any filming to do. I mean, eventually this weekend I have to film the next Do You Remembaer, but there's not a hard deadline on that because I have till next Tuesday really to film and upload. I could always do it whenever. I don't have anything on the agenda for tomorrow. Got a wide open day. And so I think I'll play some video games, read some manga. All the anime I watched to talk about on Saturday all come out on Saturday. Slow Loop comes out on Friday. So Slow Loop is on Friday, so I can watch the new Slow Loop. And then Strongest Sage and How Realist Hero I got to watch on Saturday. I don't have to, but that's when I want to watch it. So, let's see. Do I want to put these stickers on? I mean, I don't really want to, but we'll get some stickers on here. Got a few minutes left in the stream. We'll get some stickers on. Sounds like you got Tunic time. Yeah, I can get some more into Tunic. I think so. I wouldn't mind doing that because I really enjoyed it. Lord Crashton wants me at the ska button, and I will in just a moment. Lord Crashton also says, I'm looking forward to 1.0 in Power Simulator, since I'm assuming we'll have to start over with achievements and all of that in the game. Yeah, Lord Crashton, I don't know how they're handling it. I don't know if they're going to wipe everyone's progress or if you're going to continue. And my hope is that when it goes 1.0, they have more special things, because the rover is the only special they've ever had. So I really hope that they have been working on them and not putting them out because they're waiting for 1.0, because it's weird to only have one. Oh yeah, also I owe you this. Stream Deck also is incorporated now into their Stream Deck store. A new music library that has music you can use for YouTube videos and streamers. So I have not checked it out to see how much ska they have, because I also have a bunch of MP3s waiting for me. But I will look into it in the future. I forget the name of it. I'm gonna quickly see if it will show up in the old Stream Deck, not Steam Deck, the Stream Deck. I don't know if I can easily find it. Whatever. Anyway, I added a new thing in there that I can look at later. Pretzel Rocks. Pretzel Rocks is the name of it. And they have stations and playlists. And then they have play artist, album, label, play track. So I'm going to be like, play track, and that'll be in the ska button eventually. I don't even know if they have ska. I have to assume they have at least one. But as I said, I do have MP3s that are under the Creative Commons license that I can just play without worrying about it, that have been cleared for streaming, so we'll be okay. I'd like a do-over. This is talking about Power Wash Simulator, since I know better about what to spend my money on and get the washers and their attachments more quickly. Yeah, I mean, also, Lord Crashton, you could clear your cloud save data. You could delete your save and just start over. If you wanted to. If they get to 1.0 and they're just like, all right, here are the levels, here are all, just play the game. Thanks for everybody that got it and whatever, and they don't do anything unique for you. You could always just like do whatever, just like to, start over. Which could be fun. There are a couple levels I don't want to play again. Even with the best equipment, I don't know if I would want to go in and use it. Like I feel like I don't know. I haven't reached that point yet, wanting a fresh start. I hear you, Lord Grashton. But yeah, there's a couple levels like that boot, the children's theater boot. I don't want to ever watch that again. I did not enjoy that level. Even with more powerful, I don't think I've ever returned to that level. I don't know. There's a few that I would like. The vehicles, I think I liked all. The penny farthing was annoying, but now I have better equipment, so that would be okay. The big wheel bike. But I think the most of the vehicles I enjoyed. There's also a couple like levels where I don't want to get the text again about them because the story was annoying. I don't know. But yeah, I should do some Power Wash Simulator while I'm There's a podcast that I listen to that comes out on Fridays, and I watch the video version. I don't just listen to it; I watch the video version, and I usually play a video game while watching that. So Power Wash Simulator is a great for that stream. I'm going to apply some of these stickers, but not all of them. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll do all 4 stickers that I need to do for this arm. And then on Saturday stream, we will continue this arm. And then we will work on the feet and the legs. Move on there. But I only have 2 more stickers for this, so I'll put on there. I saw the devs were doing a dev stream to show off the new aiming mode, though I haven't seen it yet. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. Thank you for letting me know. I would like to see this new fixed aiming mode where you fix your character and then you can just like move around to aim. And I think that'll be interesting to see how that works and if it's something that I would like to try out or not. I am intrigued. I assume that we will do another stream of that when 0.9 comes out, and then maybe we'll do 1.0. I don't know. But definitely 0.9. Again, if there's a bunch of new stuff with 1.0 when it officially launches, we'll do a stream. But if there's not a bunch of stuff, we'll definitely do the next update because there'll be new stages. And I want to show all them stages. All right. So that's that. We still have more work to do here on this arm, obviously, but we did get quite a bit of it done. And we are going to finish the stream there. We're going to wrap things up with a raid. We always end every stream with a raid. Thank you to everybody that chose to spend some time with us here on the old Bill with Bear workshop. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for spending some of your Thursday evening with me as I built a fucking great looking model kit. This is you can see that there, sharp looking, cool looking model kit. As I work on that, and then we'll get ready to continue working on that on Saturday. I am going to figure out who we're going to go raid, because as I said, we always end with a raid. Let's see, who's doing stuff that I want us to go hang out with. Could be a model kit builder, could be just somebody playing a video game that I like. But it will be someone that is cool. I would love to raid Ian, but he's probably wrapping up because Ian Horner over at Loading Ready Run, that started at 8 p.m. Eastern, so usually just about 3 hours there. We could do, who's doing stuff that we want, what is going on with there? We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Let's go raid Wiggins. We haven't raided Matt Wiggins in a while. He's playing Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon 1 Dawn, as I've often said. We're going to go give Matt Wiggins a raid because we haven't raided Matt in a while. And Matt's good people. So feel free to come along on this raid. I hope to see you on Saturday for my next stream, where I will be continuing on this and talking about other stuff that's coming up out there in the world. Hope you have a great rest of your St. Patrick's Day. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Thanks for coming along on this raid. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. If you stuck around this whole time because you came in with Joe Kim, thank you. Give me a follow. Check me out again. See you in the future. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.